One of the major investments we're going to make in the program that is taking over from the extended credit facility that has just ended today, and today you've come at a very auspicious occasion because we've concluded the IMF program. And we're moving into the policy coordinating instruments. And in the policy coordinating instrument, we're creating space for the investment of 1% of GDP in key areas. And one of the areas that has been identified is commercial agriculture. And the northern region has vast arable lands to host large-scale agriculture. And so northern region will be one of the main beneficiaries, including agro-processing and agribusiness. The northern region remains central to Ghana's transformation agenda. The region is strategically positioned to become a major agricultural production hub under the 24-hour economy initiative and the accelerated export development program, a center for agro-processing and agribusiness, a logistics and trade corridor for the Sahel, and a key driver of food security and exports. And this is not something new because we all know when we were growing up that Head of State Ike Achampong came to the northern region on an inspection tour, and he gave the northern region the title of the granary of Ghana because food production and commercial agriculture and agro-processing was the highest in the northern region. All of us growing up knew Mensilo Rice Factory, we knew the vegetable oil mills, we knew the Tiger Pito Factory, we knew the Nasia Rice Factory and all that. And these all contributed to food security in Ghana. And so we want to capture that vision again.
This announcement marks the definitive end of Ghana's financial bailout relationship with the IMF. The government of Ghana is exceedingly grateful to the people of Ghana for their sacrifices, resilience, and forbearance. The government of Ghana is also exceedingly grateful to our bilateral creditors, the Official Creditors Committee, and our external and domestic investors for their collective sacrifice. Going forward, the government of Ghana announces an engagement with the IMF on Policy Coordination Instrument, PCI. The PCI is a form of technical assistance engagement with the IMF. It is a non-financing instrument designed to help countries implement economic reforms and signal commitment to policies that the financial market will be very comfortable with, and unlock financing from private investors and other development partners. For the avoidance of doubt, the PCI does not provide financial bailout, but it will offer continuous capacity development, confidence boost to the market, and deliver a catalytic effect for fresh financing to Ghana. This non-bailout technical assistance policy coordination instrument will complement government effort to achieve investment grade in the near future. Achieving investment grade is very important and significant to the people of Ghana. It will lower sovereign and private sector borrowing costs and attract long-term institutional investors, increase foreign direct investment, and unlock cheaper financing for critical infrastructure development and private sector growth. Ultimately, this engagement will support government of Ghana's effort to accelerate sustainable development, create jobs, and raise living standards for all Ghanaians. President Mahama and his administration remain fully committed to good governance, prudent economic management, fiscal discipline, and creating an attractive environment for both domestic and international investment. Thank you very much.
That we are going to go to the capital market for any form of financing. So it is off the table, at least for this year. In the medium term, it will depend on what the government seeks to do. But I can assure you that we are not in a hurry to go back to the capital market. The energy sector risk, the IMF will answer that. And then the issues on bailout that you just raised. Yes, PCI, as I said, is not a bailout. And so what we seek to do is to make sure that whatever we do today is sustainable, so that we don't go back to the good old bad days where we get to a situation that we have to go to the IMF. And so for this reason why we are putting in place measures so that we don't get to where we have to go for a bailout. We believe that we do not have a need to go for a bailout currently, but it doesn't mean we should lower our guard. It means that we don't have to be complacent. We need to work more harder, and we need to sustain the gains of economic stability to be able to attract private investment into our country and be able to build on it for sustainable growth that will benefit particularly youth unemployment. And so these are some of the things that we are putting in place. So bailout is out of the equation. But let me also make this point. And when I was a deputy minister here under Minister Tekbe, he has often said that as for indiscipline, there's always a price for indiscipline. So you can, for example, today come out of an IMF program. And if you come out of an IMF program and you decide to be indisciplined for 1 year, it may be enough justification to go back after the following year. And so I believe in it. Clearly, indiscipline is what has landed Ghana on a number of bailout programs, because largely we deplete our reserves so fast, and we enjoy the benefits of consolidation so quickly, and in the end we'll go back to where we don't have to be. But what we seek to do going forward is to build on the momentum that this ECF has created for all of us and sustain it for a very long time so that the country can benefit from it. And that's all what we are seeking to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me also express a few points on the questions asked. For the time frame for the PCI, as Minister explained, it's a 36-month PCI. We plan to take the request for PCI to the IMF Executive Board in the end of July, at the same time with the final review under the ECF. So both the final review and ECF will be completed, and the new PCI will be initiated going forward. And with 36 months, hope to complete PCI sometime mid in 2029.
Apparently, Lincoln University called on Ghana's president, that's John Dramani Mahama, to award him. But when he got there, they realized he's not into gayism. I mean, true. So they decided not to give him the award again, and they were expecting us to, Africans, we are into these borrowing things, so they know, say, definitely they are going to get us through borrowing and all that. But unfortunately, Ghanaians are not borrowing for anything from them, and then they were planning on sacking all the Ghanaian students in Lincoln University. Lo and behold, immediately John Dramani Mahama became president. Few months later, he went to clear all the student debts in Lincoln University. So as I'm talking to you right now, we didn't pass any bill that you people can do that. See, the reason why I'm so happy is that which president, which country go fit do this? Which country go fit do this? Lucky, John Dramani Mahama is working all year, Juma. It's just that these foreigners now, they are disturbing us. Now he's not saying anything about it. They're hoping most of us the issue. But aside that, this man is working. This man is working. God bless you, John Dramani Mahama. I've never, for once, regretted voting for you. My patro Shasuna. Alatafo no hwom suye maye alatafo ne empo mo ha nti pebibi ne ka fa ho maye pawacho.
Okay, so Ghana is officially leaving the IMF bailout program, and this could become one of the biggest economic turning points in the country's recent history. Let me explain. You see, after years of debt crisis, inflation, city collapse, protests, and painful economic reforms, Ghana has now completed its IMF bailout program and is entering a new phase with the International Monetary Fund. Now, let me make you understand this better. You see, this does not mean Ghana is cutting ties with the IMF. Ghana is moving into a Policy Coordination Instrument, or PCI. Unlike the IMF bailout program, it comes with no IMF money, but the IMF is still involved through monitoring and policy checks. So Ghana is not leaving IMF oversight, it's leaving IMF funding. Now, this single move could become the biggest move on the African continent. Now, let me tell you how important this is. You see, just few years ago, Ghana's economy was in serious trouble. Inflation went up more than 50%, the cedi became one of the worst performing currencies in the world, and government debt exploded. Ghana was also locked out of international borrowing markets because investors no longer trusted the country's ability to repay loans. And eventually, the government had no choice but to run back to the IMF for a 3 billion bailout program in 2023. Now, that bailout came with tough conditions: tax increases, spending cuts, debt restructuring, and tighter control on government's borrowing. And ordinary Ghanaians felt it directly. Food prices rose, transport became more expensive, businesses struggled, and purchasing power dropped. But now the IMF says Ghana's economic indicators have improved enough to exit the bailout phase. Now, this is good news. But the bigger question is this truly a new chapter for Ghana's economy? Now, here's what most of you don't know. You see, Ghana has entered IMF programs over 15 times and completed multiple cycles of exit and return since 1957. And in the last decade alone, Ghana has already had multiple IMF support programs. Under President John Dramani Mahama, Ghana entered another IMF program in 2015 to stabilize the economy after rising debt and fiscal pressure. Now, years later, under President Nana Akufo-Addo, Ghana returned to the IMF again in 2023 after the economic shocks from COVID-19, global inflation, the Russian-Ukraine war, cedi depreciation, and Ghana's own debt crisis pushed the economy into severe distress. Now, this is why many economists are careful about celebrating too early, because Ghana has exited IMF programs before, only to later return for another bailout. So now, what does this mean for ordinary Ghanaians? You see, if government maintains discipline, inflation could continue falling, the cedi could stabilize further, investor confidence may improve, interest rates could gradually reduce, and Ghana may slowly rebuild trust in the international financial systems. Now, this also sends message to global investors: Ghana is no longer in emergency bailout mode. And this really matters because perception affects investment, jobs, and economic growth. So the real historical significance of this movement is not just about Ghana exiting an IMF program. Now, this is about whether Ghana can finally prove it can manage its own economy sustainably after years of IMF dependence. And honestly, the next few years will determine whether this becomes a true economic recovery story or just another temporary break before the next bailout. So now my question is, do you think this is a good move or a bad move? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and repost this video for more content like this.
This is why we got into the IMF. You were spending too much relative to revenues, which is true. You were borrowing too much, which is true. Your external payments position has deteriorated, which is true. And so you ended up, your growth is reducing, which is true. So you ended up at the IMF, and the IMF would impose certain conditions, which is true. And if you don't do certain things right, the anchor will not hold, which is true. So I'm not quite sure what it is that is not true that I said, but I think
today marks a bold and historical moment for Ghana. Congratulations to the government and to the people of Ghana on reaching the end of the IMF program. This achievement reflects resilience, sacrifice, and determination towards rebuilding economic independence and national confidence. May this new chapter bring stability, growth, opportunity, and prosperity to every Ghanaian citizens. Yes. As Ghanaian turns the page on the IMF era, the focus now should shift to sustaining economic progress, creating jobs, strengthening local industry, and improving the lives of the people. The journey continues, but this moment stands as a symbol of hope and a renewed vision for the future of Ghana. God bless Ghana. Yes. Wow. All right, people, you have listened to all that have spoke today. We need your comments. What is your opinion? Can you drop it in the comments? Yes, drop your thoughts in the comments. Yeah. If you have not liked this video, please like this video, share it. Comment your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here. For my returning subscribers, I keep telling you guys that people are amazing. Until I come your way again, I remain your girl, Linda.